separate and see what we get.
We are going to do one just like that, Charlie, only in a minute.
Okay, I'll time it.
Okay, it's going to be a little bit longer than a minute, but just know.
Why do you have to be so complicated?
Okay, you give me a second.
She could.
Actually, I'm fine here.
Okay.
Make a Mr. Holmes class and banish her.
I'll do it on the paper and then I'll show you my paper.
All right, let's think smarter, not harder.
Do the
If
top
step
one.
1 says to solve one of the variables or to solve one of the equations for one of the variables, which equation do you want to solve, and for which variable does it make the most sense to solve for?
The top one.
Jonah.
You want to solve the top one because x doesn't have a, well,
Doesn't have a coefficient. Yes.
Nice.
All right. So we're going to want to solve this equation, and we're going to want to solve it for x because x doesn't have a coefficient. Now, why is that important?
That way you don't have to divide.
That way I don't have to divide. Okay? So I'm going to take my x plus 2y is equal to 7, and I'm going to solve for x. So I'm going to subtract 2y from both sides. And I'm going to end up with x is equal, how do you want to write this? Negative 2y plus 7? That's fine. Okay. Now, what am I going to do with this x is equal to a negative 2y plus 7?
Replace it
Replace it where?
on the top.
On the top?
Oh, would you put it into the...
You got to put it into the other one. Remember, step 2 says to replace it into the other one. So that means it's going to go right there. Okay? It's going to go right there. So now I'm going to have 2 times negative 2y plus 7 plus 2y equals 7.
It's 13.
Oh, yeah, 13. Good catch on that. Good catch. Okay. Now what do I have to do? Just solve. All right, that we know how to do. 2 times negative 2 is going to give me negative 4y. 2 times a positive 7 is going to give me 14. Plus 2y is equal to 13. And negative 4y plus 2y is going to get me a 2y. Plus 14 is going to get me a 13. I'm going to subtract 14 from both sides. 2y gets me a negative 1. What?
Negative 2y.
Yes. This is why y'all got to help me out. Ugh. Okay, realistically, this is where you're going to mess up. Not in doing the math, but in like dropping your negatives and writing the wrong numbers and all the things I'm not being careful about are all the reasons why you could mess up on this. Okay? So I'm going to divide by negative 2, and I'm going to get y to be what? 1/2. Is that okay that y is 1/2? Yeah, but if we graphed this and we had y is 1/2, we'd be flipping out, right? Because that's not in a spot we know. We think it might be 1/2, but we're not real sure. This proves it. It's going to be 1/2. Okay? But now, what do I do with that 1/2 now that I have y is equal to 1/2?
Substitute it in the other equation.
Okay, does it matter where I substitute it in? No, because it says I can put it into any equation that has 2 variables. Which equation makes the most sense? The top one?
Well, like that one, X.
let's go, Charlie.
Yes, the one that's already solved for x makes the most sense. Okay? Because remember, I've got y so that I can solve for x. Well, if it's already solved for x, why not use it? Now, I could go back and use one of these two if I really wanted to. Okay? But let's be realistic. If I've solved this equation wrong, I'm going to get this point wrong anyway. Okay? So I'm going to have x is equal to a negative 2 times 1/2 plus 7. So x would be equal to a negative 1 plus 7, which is 6. Which tells me that my solution
6, comma.
would be 6 comma 1/2. Which would not look good on a graph, but we can prove algebraically. Everybody okay with that? What? How did I get 6? It is positive 6, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
We did the first one, we have to use the explanation.
What do you mean we did the first one?
I mean, the second one on the bottom, where we had to make x 0
Why?
because we don't have an x in that situation. We have a y.
If we use the second one down here?
Yeah, because we would have.
In
one
which
half
in which step? In the first step or in the solve for x step?
for x.
No, because you would just go 2x plus 2 times 1/2 is going to be equal to 13. Well, 2x, 2 times 1/2 is 1, so plus 1 is equal to 13. Subtract 1, 2x is equal to 12, x is still equal to 6. So even if you use this one, you should get x to be 6.
Why would you use that one, though?
Just if you, I don't know, wanted to try it, I guess, wanted to prove that it didn't work, and yet we're still able to prove that I was right.